In the history of science, there is evidence to show that the most disruptive idea, the idea of what does the Golgi apparatus do to fundamental ideas in the evolution of multicellularity, oftentimes comes from people who are at the interdisciplinary edge. Maybe they're not into the dogma of how things are taught, but also can cross-pollinate. It's so much fun, and the potentials are so exciting.
We have so many complex problems facing society. Let's just take climate for an example. Understanding the atmosphere and the oceans requires a knowledge of chemistry, math, large-scale computation, fluid dynamics. It's sort of foolish to focus on just one part of the science. And in fact, the world doesn't respect these artificial boundaries that we make between chemistry and biology and physics and computation. The world is the world. It's an integrated whole mystery.
When I think about the physical sciences, particularly in the podcast, we begin to go beyond my expertise, and we've had to be interdisciplinary. We have an episode called Rhythm and Blackness. It's the genetics of rhythm. I know a lot of genetics. I know nothing about the connection between hearing and movement. And so I needed to reach out to some neuroscientists, music ethnologists, and their question could be totally different. How does your ability to listen to music and take in music impact your mental health? And that gives now a whole new angle to this question. So it's really important that we bring in all these different fields of science to kind of answer one question, because more than likely, they're all represented in it.
Supposing we're making a low-cost technology, you still require interdisciplinary appreciation to solve problems. Most engineers sometimes will argue that engineering a piece of hardware is the hardest problem. Actually, it's not. The other part is policy. The other part is behavior. Convincing somebody to use that. We're working on delivering vaccine. We have to start our own company. We have to think about how a nurse is going to use it, how we're going to ship it, package it, how we're going to file with the FDA. So there's interdisciplinary in many different ways, all the way from concept to translation.
Interdisciplinary thinking is so important for everybody. With having a background in the sciences and also the arts, I can go further and think with my creative portions of my brain, okay, what is the story there? If someone tells me a really brilliant idea, maybe they're going to revolutionize a field of medicine or of chemistry. I already have those neurons firing that's like, oh my gosh, if I could just get this in front of this group, we could really affect the change that we want to see. What I would say for folks who are really entrenched in academia, to collaborate with someone who's more on the artistic or entertainment side and say, is there an element of my research or what I'm trying to convey that just flat out interests people? Storytelling space, we have a lot of ability to say, okay, I get what you're saying, and I get what you're saying, and actually you two have a common goal. If we could just have you speak the same language, we could see something really beautiful happen.